Alright. So, it's the next day. Morning already. I guess I must have slept pretty well. I feel good. Really? Sleep on the whole the cold, hard floor. I don't know if they gave us any sleeping bags. Any futons to use while we're sleeping in this fish prison. Well, this was the day I was ready to go. Well, no time like the present. I took out the beads Urabe had given me and pulled a large rock out of one of the fish tanks. Okay. Ha! The rock slammed into the beads, shattering them. That ought to do it. Okay. Moments later, I heard footsteps from the other side of the door and it swung open.
Saki-san, 大丈夫ですか?
Urabe rushed in, his face concerned. It looked like he'd been right about the prayer beads. He saw the shattered beads on the floor and let out a small sigh of relief.
ご自分でやられたのですか?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd come running in if I did. I didn't know how else to get your attention. I just want to talk. He frowned for a moment, then reached over and slowly shut the door.
わかりました。お話を聞かせてください。
Alright. Yandere 101, how do we convince? How do we convince someone who's like obsessed with you to not just keep us in a cage for all our lives, Thank you. I sat down across from him and explained what I'd been thinking about the night before. Also, keep him away from knives. That should be the #1 rule for Yanders. After you brought me back, I had a lot of time to think. I understand why you want to keep me here, and it's sweet of you, but I can't do it. I need to go back. He frowned again, and his expression grew a little harsher. I can't stop now. I remember what my uncle had said. No running. Face him head on. Apply directly to the forehead. I can do this. I want us to go back together. We can beat this game, all 7 of us. But he slowly shook his head.
それはできません。あなたを命の危険にさらしたくはありませんし、私は今さら皆さんの元に戻ることなどできません。私は皆さんの命を奪おうとしたのですから。
Yeah, legally speaking, it is attempted murder, so he'll probably go to prison.
一度でも裏切った者は必ずまた裏切る。
They don't feel like that. Nobody died. You actually saved all of us. Well, I guess you could argue that. Look, guys, I tried to kill you, but then I, changed my mind at the last second, so... Yeah, will that help when he talks to the judge? We were all looking for you before the hotel showed up that night. If they didn't think you were one of them, why did they do that? He looked down the floor bitterly. For several long seconds, the only sound in the room was the soft bubbling of the fish tanks. Actually, that would sound actually quite relaxing. If we were stuck in all the deadly games and everything, it actually would be nice to just sit around in a room full of fish tanks. I imagine that's quite relaxing.
おしゃべりはもうおしまいです。
He stood and walked toward the door. Where are you going?
すべてはもう遅い。言ったでしょ。あなたを助けるためにワルドブーと取引したと。
And I assume what he gave in exchange is his own life or something, maybe. He turned back to look at me, and I could see pain in his eyes.
これから始まる最後のゲームで、私は自分の命を捧げなければならない。
What? Wait, what? What are you saying?
私は死ぬんです。
Why would you do that?
次のアトラクションで、私は正体を隠したまま皆さんと戦い、あえてやられて命を落とします。
Ah, yes, the Coliseum game, with the electric shocks. I guess.
敵は私だったのだとワルドブーがバラすことで皆さんに今までで最大の揺さぶりをかける。
I guess, using his life just to simply, psychologically rattle them, all just for that.
それが ワルド部との約束なんです。
Just to shock them. That's all his life is worth, I guess. I didn't know what to say. Had he really agreed to die to keep me safe?
あなたは生きてください。
I wanted to grab him and keep him from leaving, but I couldn't move. My legs shook like trees in a hurricane. No. He turned away from me again. I walked slowly toward the door. Why is he doing this? I felt anger boil up in my stomach. Yeah. I always like it when Saki gets mad. I don't know. It's fun. Even though it doesn't really accomplish much in terms of gameplay, it's just nice that it happens. I don't know. Because often, I don't know, like in a lot of dating sims, it tends to be like the protagonists tend to be very passive, you know? They don't do much, is the thing. So I like it when she actually like, you know, steps, like puts her foot down, you know? It says, you dumb idiots, stop being stupid, you know? Let me tell you how dumb you are. How many times has he talked about how worthless he thinks his life is? He says he's doing this for me, but has he ever once thought about how I feel or what I want? Now he's just going to throw his life away. Get freaking mad. Don't throw your life away like this. You care about my life, right? Well, I care about yours. It's not worthless. It's worth a lot. In fact, it's worth this amount of money. No. If you can't live for yourself, then do it for me if you really care.
しかし
I try to wipe some of the tears off my face as Urabe struggled to find his words.
今またワルド部を裏切ればあなたに危害が及ぶかもしれません。
Well, you have a habit of breaking your deals, so what's one more? You know?
それではあなたのためにせっかく安全な場所を手に入れたというのに
Again? Double? Double anger? Oh, Urabe. Only you can make Saki get angry twice. Why is he so just thinking about me? Does he really think I could live with myself if I knew he died to save me? It's being so ridiculous. Ah. If Hogstein wants to hurt me, why don't you just protect me from that? Yeah, just do it, forehead. You know, just protect me. Do it, Debbie. Easy. So easy. Instead of locking me up and ignoring my feelings, why don't you face the problem head on and deal with it yourself? And when you're in danger, I'll do the same for you.
それは
He fell to his knees, his face pale.
しかし私は犯罪者の息子です。今回のことで私自身だって
Excuses! Get mad again! Oh, yeah, that's hilarious to me. She does get mad again. That's amazing. He still doesn't get it. You're not alone, Urabe. Why can't you pull yourself together? You notice that her voice for all of the, you know, what's wrong with yous, I guess, every time she gets mad, slightly different tones. She says those, which is quite cool, I guess. I like how they added that detail. If you've done bad stuff, then turn yourself in and pay for what you did. As long as you're alive, you can start over. I hugged him. I'll stick with you no matter what.
Saki-san.
I felt him slump down in my arms, defeated. Big wet tears began to stream down his face. Smooch. That's just a weird smooch. He's like, he's not even reciprocating, you know? Kimimaru. His first name, I guess. Our lips touch and I close my eyes. It doesn't even look like you're even kissing his mouth, you know? Like kissing like a bit, like the top part of his lip or something. That was a weird kiss. Well, he didn't bother to wipe away the tears streaming down his face. I wrapped my arms tighter around his shaking body. I have to get mad again? My breath left my body in a dry wheeze as his fist connected with my stomach. Wow, domestic violence. Well, why? I curled around my aching stomach as my vision began to blur. Gently, carefully, he lowered me to the floor.
すみません。それでも私はあなたを危険にさらしたくない。だから、こうするしかないんです。
Only barely conscious, I heard him speak.
あなたのために私の命を捧げてきます。それが私のあなたへの愛なのですから。
Kimimaru. That's like for some reason, it just reminds me of a character in Naruto for some reason. Kimimaru. I don't think that's actually a character in Naruto, but it's like a ninja name. I tried my best, but I couldn't change his mind. I felt anger and sadness well up in my chest. One more time, no? Oh, damn it. Well, that's one way of dealing with her outbursts. Just punch her in the stomach? My god. But my face faded into, or not my face, but my mind faded into darkness. This is a very abusive relationship, I gotta say. You trap her in the room and then like you like punch her and everything. It's just not very good. Anyway, where am I? Oh, was this a bad ending actually? Did I get a bad ending? Is that what happened? I'm surprised actually. I mean, there's a few points that I missed in terms of like affection points, but I didn't think you'd get this so early, or I don't know. Weird. For a split second, I thought the man next to my bed was Kimimaru, but when he turned, I saw he was only a middle-aged doctor in a white lab coat. Too bad.
安心してください。ここは病院ですよ。
A hospital? Why?
あなたはテーマパークで衰弱しているところを発見されて、こちらに運ばれてきたのです。
What? I blinked slowly. I was where? And suddenly my memories flooded back. Kimimaru had punched me in the stomach when I tried to stop him. That must have knocked me out, but what had happened to the others?
ああ、何をしているんです。今はまだ起き上がらない方がいい。
Before I could swing myself out of the bed, the doctor ran over to push me back in.
あんなにも辛い事件を体験したんだ。今はゆっくり休みなさい。
What? He turned away from me. Suddenly, I remembered Kimimaru's face in the room full of fish tanks.
次のアトラクションで私は正体を隠したまま皆さんと戦い、あえてやられて命を落とします。
Is this really a bad? It feels like too early for an ending, you know? But it feels like a bad ending. Like I already got a bad ending already?
敵は私だったのだと、ワルドブーがバラすことで皆さんに今までで最大の揺さぶりをかける。それがワルドブーとの約束なんです。
Oh no, then Kimimaru and everyone else. Am I the only one left? From what the doctor had said and not said, it wasn't hard to guess at the answer.
そうだ、もう少しだけゆっくり眠っていなさい。
I closed my eyes as tears began to roll down my face. That actually it? Huh, okay. I wonder, yeah, okay, I guess that's a bad... That happens really early. And I really thought I already had all the affection points I needed to get a normal ending, because that's usually how I do with all the other characters. Okay, well, I'll skip that. That's just a generic bad ending song. Let's go back, I guess? Let's try again. Let's just go directly to his stage, and let's see. Urabe. And then just like max it out. That'll probably help, at the very least. And maybe just do it all over again. I guess we'll see. I'm surprised that actually happened. And it happened so quickly. I don't know, I felt like his route was, at least with the bad ending, a lot faster than the other ones. A lot of the other stages felt a bit longer before we reached any kind of ending, even with a good or a bad ending. Anyway. Okay, skip. First, no, not really the first time, because the same thing happened with Mailshi. I got the bad ending first before I got the good ending. But otherwise, though, all the rest of the routes I've been doing through the chapter select was definitely I always get the good ending first, and then bad ending later. But first again, I guess second time that this happened, get mad again. Again, I do like this part. I assume it's intended. I don't know. Maybe doing 3 times might be wrong. I wonder if doing it 3 times might get you the bad ending somehow. I think it's correct, right? You get a heart. Yeah, you get an affection point every time. I feel like you're supposed to get mad. Get mad again! And it really does remind me of Phoenix Wright. Whenever like Phoenix, he always says like, objection, objection! Or any of the lawyers, I guess, any of the prosecutors and lawyers, they say, objection! Take that! Hold it! That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, so after... Okay, this time, he doesn't punch us in the stomach, So, after the little kiss, we simply fade to black, and now, he does not just, like, hit us right in the gut, By the time we left the room and arrived at the plaza, it was already afternoon. Is it? Well, actually, he said 4, right? So it's 4. I don't know, I'm really bad at reading Roman numerals. I can never, like, understand the V's and the I's, depending on what order they are. So I guess 4, not 6. I said 6 before. Anyway. Okay, let's go! Kimimaro took my hand and we headed off toward the Colosseum. He had cried for a while, surrounded by the soft glow of the fish tank. I mean, probably I already knew that it was 4 before, I guess, when I saw it the first time. But then I forgot, most likely. Because there's like gaps in recording, Sometimes I just forget about these little details. When he finally lifted his face, his eyes were red and his cheeks were wet. But his face was calm, and there was a sense of peace there that I hadn't felt before. Wait, why did I start calling him Kimimaro? Oh, the bad ending. We are on our way to the final showdown. Oh, don't be silly. I'm just glad you're here with me. His smile was more warm and open than I'd ever seen. Gosh, I still kinda can't believe that actually worked. Well, come on, let's hurry. They're waiting. I gripped his hand tighter and ran faster. Suddenly, Hogstein and several large piglets appeared in front of us. You! Wait, what? Before I could finish, he cut me off with a murderous glare. I mean, isn't that what Urabe wants anyway? I felt Kimimaro's hand tighten around my own as his eyes narrowed, but he didn't move.
父親の罪も責任を持って自白します。父親の罪も私の罪も全ては法の裁きに委ねますから。
No. Hmm, 12 years, eh? So 12 years since the accident? You wonder how old Hogstein is exactly because of that? Which I guess is not really all that, you know, secret, I guess. It's always been 12 years since the accident. Anyway. He sounded furious, and even the way he talked had changed. Is this how he usually sounds? Geez, something must have really set him off. What happened to him 12 years ago? He pulled out a gun and pointed it straight at us. Oh, there's his gun. Kimimaru moved to put himself between me and Hogstein.
聞いてください。私たちはゲームを邪魔するつもりはありません。参加者として今からでもゲームに参加したいだけなんです。途中参加はルールで禁止されていないはずでしょう。
He laughed and cocked the gun.
行きましょう、サキさん。
What? But he... Oh no, I hope he's not gonna try to sacrifice himself again.
大丈夫ですから。
He gave me a soft smile. I felt my nervousness melt away.
行きますよ。
Okay. We walked slowly toward Hogstein, his gun still trained on us. We just walked...
撃てないはずです。彼は決して誰かを直接殺したいわけではないのだから。
Really? Hogstein glared at us, but showed no sign of moving out of our way.
そうでなければ、わざわざゲームなど行わないし、ルールなど定めない。
I nodded as we walked past Hogstein. Okay. That was the last thing I heard him say as we left the plaza. I mean, he's been trying to kill us this entire time. I guess he's trying to hide the fact that maybe it's not that he's trying to make their deaths as cruel as possible, but rather because he doesn't want to take responsibility for killing someone. Maybe? Is that what it is? I don't know. Because if someone does die from a game, he can like say that it's not his fault. You know, someone is that the game killed them, not himself, I guess, or something like that, in some kind of twisted logic. So he doesn't kill people directly? The first room inside the attraction looked like an old Roman arena. Nobody's here.
あそこに扉があるようです。行ってみましょう。まだ皆さんに追いつけるかもしれない。
Okay. We headed for the door. After passing through a dark hallway, we found ourselves in front of a circular stage. Do people fight here too? Why is it so dark?
おそらくここが私が戦うために用意されていた場所です。
Really?
舞台の上にあるスクリーン。あそこに対戦相手が投影される仕組みなんでしょう。映写する姿を変えてしまえば、私とは悟られずに戦うことができますから。
Oh. And then once they were beaten, Hogstein could review who you just killed. Look, another hallway.
行ってみましょう。
We made our way around the stage and through the doorway. After a little more walking, we found ourselves in the throne room. In front of the throne was a large stone with a sword stuck in it. Bright lights surrounded them.
お前たち、無事だったのか。
Okay, we're just rejoining them. Huh?
おいおい、なんでこんな場所にいんだ。
No, we just walked past Hogstein and just came here.
多分僕たちのすぐ後にいたんだ。
もうびっくりさせないでよ。
久しぶりに勇者が7人揃ったな。
There they were, all 5 of them.
無事追いつけたようですね。
Yeah. I gently let go of his hand and ran over toward them. I'm so glad you're all safe.
お前たちもな。
When Shido spoke, I saw everyone's eyes shift over to Kimimaru. He looked down awkwardly. Oh. For a moment I froze, but I was worried for nothing.
浦部君まろよく戻ってきた。これから最後の謎を解く。仲間は一人でも多い方が助かる。
指導さん。
そうそう。これでまた最初のメンバーが集結ってな。
もう浦部さんがいなくなった後結構大変だったんだよ。
すみません。
とにかく無事でよかった。
浦部、またよろしく頼む。
はい。
Shido smiled and patted Kimimaro on the shoulder while Mitarashi yelled and pounded his chest. Wakasa pretended to pout while Meoshi grinned, and Shirabe offered Kimimaro one of his snacks. They all still trust him,
皆さん。
even though they have no reason to, but don't worry about it.
二人ともおかえり。
Everybody else joined in. Oh geez, I think I'm gonna cry. The power of friendship, I guess. I looked up at Kimimaru, who was blinking rapidly against very watery eyes.
だが本当にいいタイミングで帰ってきてくれた。俺たちも少し前にここにたどり着いたところだ。
Sorry we were late then. This is the puzzle, right?
ついさっきアナウンスがあったとこ。
I mean, all we gotta do is pull the sword. I mean, it's not much of a puzzle.
どん
I
な
guess it only works though once everyone is gathered. Mitarashi grinned from ear to ear and took a deep breath.
ようこそ政権の前。選ばれし騎士よ。今こそ政権を抜け。王の座を手にするのだ。
へえ、みたらしさんすごいじゃない。さっきのアナウンスとそっくりだよ。
だろ？俺は多芸なんだよ。
I'm so awesome. He puffed out his chest as Wakasa clapped politely. I felt myself smiling and looked around to see everyone else is doing the same. Shido's right though. We can't let our guard down just because it is the last puzzle. We still have to be careful and think it through. I took a deep breath. Just as I did, I felt a hand on my shoulder and looked up to see Kimimaru smiling softly down at me. My anxiety melted away.
アナウンスからすれば、この剣を抜くのが最後の謎解きのようだが。
But it looks like it's stuck in there pretty good. Shido took a close look at the sword. He poked the blade and grabbed the handle, then shook his head.
やはりダメだな。硬質な金属でできている上に重量もありそうだ。
玉座の方には何もなかったぜ。
He and Miyoshi had been examining it.
玉座も政権もダメか。となると。
He stared at the stone.
ああ、この岩に仕掛けがあると見て間違いなさそうだな。
I mean, again, we just need to pull it out. It's funny, like, remember the scene, I believe in Shido's route, I guess maybe some other route, but I think it was just like, actually it was very simple, you just need to pull it out. The top of the stone was flat and several different patterns were drawn on it. I wonder what these mean.
まるで時計のようですね。
He was frowning in thought at the top of the stone, his voice barely above a mumble. I hadn't noticed it until he mentioned it, but it did kind of look like a clock.
でも針がない。
もしかしたら日時計のようなものではありませんか。
あ？日時計って影の向きで時間を計るんだっけか？
Now I wonder if this is actually a puzzle. You know, maybe the last time we did this, you know, sword thing, did the characters just simply brute force it accidentally and solved it, but didn't really solve it? I don't know.
ええ。ここを見てください。天井からの光が聖剣に当たって影ができています。今聖剣の影は時計で言えば12時の位置を指しているように見えませんか。
本当だ。
Just like he said, the shadow was pointing to 12.
だが今は午後4時過ぎだ。 実際の時間とはリンクしていないな。
He tapped his watch as he spoke.
それにこれがもし日時計だったら時間によって影の位置が変化するはずなんだが。けどよ、剣は動かせそうにねえんだろ。
もしかしたらどこかにライトの向きを動かすようなスイッチがあるのかもしれない。
It sounded reasonable, so we split up and looked. But after several minutes of searching, we turned up nothing.
手がかりが途切れたな。
くっそ、イライラするぜ。
He swore under his breath and stalked over the sword and stone.
おい、むやみに触らん方がいい。うっせえな。今触らないで。いつ触れってんだよ。このままタイムリミットまで何もできずにドカンとなっちまうよりはこうする方が全然マシだろ。
He grabbed the sword by the hilt and started to heave and grunt.
ああ、もうまあみたらしさんらしいけど。
俺たちはアナウンスの言葉をもう一度最初から考えてみよう。
We were going through it word by word when Mitarashi suddenly spoke up.
おい、ちょっと待ってくれよ。
He began waving urgently and we all looked up.
この剣重くてびくともしねえかと思ったけど動くみたいだぜ。
Nice. It's funny because, you know, we're already spoiled on this puzzle. So all that overthinking actually leads to nothing. We actually just need to pull it out. I guess that's the joke, you know? Everybody's just overcomplicating things, but really, you just pick up the sword. Shido leapt out and ran over, the rest of us followed.
いいか、見てろよ。
He grabbed the hilt and pulled it with all of his weight. The sword moved. Oh, he's right.
な、動きそうだろ。なあ、みんなで引っ張れや。持ち上げられるんじゃねえのか。
やった、これでクリア。
いえ、
No? What do you mean no? He shook his head.
もし仮にそれでクリアできたとしてもワルドブーに勝ったことにはなりません。
Okay.
ここは正攻法で謎を解くべきではないでしょうか。
Is that true?
なかなかいいことを言う。
We didn't do that last time. At least in a different timeline. We just pulled it out. He gave Urabe a small grin.
あ、
We all turned to look at him.
おい見ろ。影の位置が動いてるぞ。
What? He was right. The shadow was pointing to 1, not 12.
おい、みたらし流星、一体何をした？
あ、知らねえよ。別に何もしてねえ。ただこうやって剣を抜こうと。
As if to demonstrate, he yanked on the sword again.
そうか。
なんか分かったのか。
変わってくれ。
Shido pushed past Mitarashi, grabbed the crossbar on the sword, and pushed it like it was a crank. Okay. The stone. As Shido pushed, the sword and the stone began to slowly rotate.
なるほど。
Okay, so it's
そういうことか。
it's kind of like actually what would you call it? Got like a lever, a handle. It spins the stone,
一人
basically.
で納得してないで教えてよ。
I assume.
剣の影の角度を変えるには光の向きを変えるんじゃない。時計盤である岩の方を回転させることで剣に当たる光の角度が変化するんだ。
Oh, so when Mitarashi was messing with it, he rotated the stone.
そういうことだな。
This really is back to just.
俺の頑張り空前で片付けられんのかよ。
This really is just back to the beginning parts of the game, you know? This is just like doing the puzzle. It's just weird. Often you don't actually do the puzzles in a lot of the other routes, except maybe Shido's route, you know? Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
だろ。
えらいえらい。
っておいコウタ、なんだその投げやりな褒め方は。
Kota. They're pretty close, I guess, because he called him Kota. Urabe rubbed his beard thoughtfully.
これで日時計の数字を指す影を変化させることはできたな。
Yeah.
おそらくあとは正しい数字に合わせればこの謎を解くことができるはずだ。
And we're in like Flynn. Well, it's a normal 12-hour clock, so we got 12 choices.
一つずつ調べてみるのが得策でしょうね。千藤さん、お願いします。
Well, actually, I wonder what happens if you put it in the time of the bus accident. Maybe is that the answer? He nodded to Kimemaru and began to slowly rotate the stone. At each number he would stop, I could hear a quiet click. Unfortunately, nothing else happened. Well, is it like a combination lock? We tried stopping on the actual current time, but nothing happened.
結局一回りしてもダメか。
I guess it's not that easy. Because it really is just like an actual puzzle. Last time when, you know, at least the last time I played like a route that featured this puzzle, I guess they cheated. You know, they kind of just brute forced it, just pulled the sword out. That's not what you're supposed to do. He frowned. Do you think just putting in a specific number isn't enough?
いつもならアナウンスに何かヒントが隠されているはずですが。
確かようこそ政権の前、選ばれし騎士よ、今こそ政権を抜け王の座を手にするのだだったな。
ああ、それで間違いない。しかし特に数字につながりそうな言葉はなさそうだが。
また手詰まりだね。
Let me just save real quick, because I feel an explosive insight soon, so as I save over these white squares, the white rectangles.
いやいや、最後まで諦めんな。きっとまだ何か隠されてんだって。
It was a nice sentiment, but it didn't change the fact we were still stuck. I frowned and racked my brain for anything.
数字。あ、数字につながりそうな言葉見つけた。
でかした。どこだ。
アリスカートの時にハートの女王がトランプのクイーンだったじゃない。それで今回は王なんだからキングなんじゃないのかな。
I don't know about, well, I don't know. Does it, because this is not really related to cards.
いや、キングは数字で言えば13だ。文字盤には12までしか数字がない。
そっか。ひらめいたって思ったのに、また振り出しか。
Wait, hold on, Wakasa. We already tried stopping on each number from 1 to 12. That means it can't be one of those numbers. Actually, he might be onto something. Actually, he might actually be that might actually be the correct answer. That would mean explosive insight. Again, kind of weird that we just, I don't know, I love the routes. With the exception of Shido's route, they tend to just be focused on the character that you're on the route on, so you don't actually do much of the games for the most part. But this one is actually just straight up doing the actual puzzle, which is funny because we technically skipped this one in the other route. Alright, first I need, okay, well, I don't know why there's 3 E's, but I need to go over what's happened so far. There are 12 numbers on the stone, and we did a full rotation, but none of them did anything. We just need to get the shadow on the right number, but a full rotation is all 12 hours. Wait, what would happen if we kept going? Then Wakasa realized that one of the words of the announcement might correspond to a number. Yeah, that idea just came out of nowhere. On playing cards, King would be K, and it would correspond to 13. Took me a minute to realize what he meant when he brought it up. Right? If Alice's card, the Queen of Hearts, was Q, so King would be K. But the die only goes up to 12, so we can't move it to 13. If it was a digital watch, then we could switch it over to 24-hour time, but obviously it's not. I don't think any clock dial goes up to 13. On the other hand, 1 through 12 didn't work. It had to be something else, somehow. Only the number we have is 13 though. So how are we gonna get it to the right number? So I'm gonna think like it's like a combination lock, you know? I don't know how it works exactly. Are we gonna add up to 13, or do we just go 1 and then 3? Would that work? I'm not sure. But something like full rotation, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm assuming full rotation's the correct one. Yeah, there you go. Incited! It's a pun. You see, it's very funny. That makes sense. Maybe if I grab a hold of the stone and try to rotate the stone, or grab a hold of the sword and then rotate the stone. But it was too heavy.
Saki-san, 何かひらめいたんですね。
Right? It's so heavy.
私が一緒に回します。手を。
He stepped forward and placed his hand on the sword just above my own. We both took a deep breath and pushed. If I'm right, this should do it. We pushed until the shadow had made a full circuit and kept going. Stop it here. Both let go just as the shadow fell into a number just past 12. 1.
そうか。これが13メモリ目。
Or maybe it is, I don't know, maybe it's like, okay, well, okay, so maybe it's like PM and AM? Is that what it is? A 12-hour clock? Like technically 1 o'clock PM? You have to like rotate it one time and then it goes past 12 is 13 technically. The stone ground to a stop with a cheerful ding. Some mechanism began to push the sword up and out of the stone. You know, I thought it was like you had to do like a combination, you know, that adds up to 13. But I guess you don't have to do that. You simply just need to rotate it once more after the 12th one. Anyway, it slid out of the top and fell to the floor with a clang. There you go. That's actually a puzzle that we just brute forced the first time we saw this one. That's funny.
ゲームステージ7を完全クリア。魔王に謁見する権利を入手しました。
Shido ran up to us before the echoes of the announcement had faded.
二人ともよくやってくれた。
Thanks, but I was just...
サキさん、あなたは。
Before I could speak, Kimimaru threw his arms around me. Oh, don't punch me in the stomach this time.
あなたは本当に素晴らしい人です。
Which kind of is interesting, actually. I just wanted to mention that his bad ending is actually pretty interesting. Because compared to everyone else's basically is just saying, well, we can't be together, goodbye, you know. But Urabe is kind of like, actually, his motivation for the bad ending is because he still loves her, you know? So whether or not you get affection points with him, technically, he still ends up being in love with Saki, I guess? But, you know, in the bad ending, obviously, he goes about it in a bad way.
あなたと出会えて、あなたを好きになってよかった。
Kimimaru.
お前らいつの間に
Yeah.
そういうことになっちゃってんの
That's what I feel like anytime Saki is going down any of the routes or any of the husbandos, you know, just want to say, when did you two hook up? When did that happen?
3日目の夜、浦部さんを探しに客船から降りた時、
それとも僕たちから離れて二人きりで過ごすうちに。
おそらくそのどちらもだな。その間にきっと何か言えないようなことでも起こったんだろう。
Well, hold on there. Nothing like that happened. We just talked and got to know each other.
本当か、浦部君まろ。彼女は大変優秀で度胸もあるが、まだまだ未成年の女子。
Yeah, she is a high school student. I feel that could be applied to all of you, except maybe Meoshi and Wakasa. They seem pretty young, so they probably are around the same age. But everyone else, you could say that, you know, in the other timelines.
お前に限ってまさかとは思うが、彼女に不埒な行為などを強制していないだろうな。
っておい、フラチってなんだよ。どうせ10くらいだろ。
Actually, they did. Kish.
あ、2人とも真っ赤。図星？
浦部貴様。
I mean, that's my reaction for Shirabe as well. I feel like I don't know why everyone's angry at Urabe. You should be angry at Shirabe in the other timeline too.
していません。まだしていませんから。
Liar.
まだだと。
ああ、せっかくクリアしたのに。浦部さんだけここから出られなくなりそうだな。
Guys, come on, this is all just a misunderstanding. Right as the words left my mouth, the door opened with a loud, heavy creaking.
扉が開いたよ。
We all went silent. We did it. We beat 7 days of games.
そうだな。仕方がない。ゲームクリアに免じて今回の件に関しては収める。だが彼女が高校を卒業
No more
するまで
kissing.
は
Actually, speaking of that, I mentioned before, there are laws surrounding that whole thing. For example, during Shirabe's where I was talking about how, like, you know, you can date technically if one of the person or one of the people in a relationship is younger than 18, they're technically a minor if you have permission for your parents, but also again, the relationship needs to be not immoral, I guess, which is weird, and actually it depends on the prefecture, you know, whether or not that constitutes, for example, kissing. Kissing can actually be illegal, technically, if you're dating someone other than 18 in Japan anyway, depending on where you are. You know, it depends. Sometimes even hand-holding. That's why I feel like that's where it comes from, like how people, especially me, tend to make a joke about how, like, when characters hand-hold and how it's like super lewd. Actually, it's illegal in some locations in Japan to do that if, you know, the person is under 18. So, I think that's where it comes from.
お前さんの娘じゃあるまいし。ま、とにかくめでたいじゃないか。さあ、外に出ようか。前を迎えに行って安心させてやらないとな。いやー、すっかり当てられちまったぜ。全部終わったらどっか嫁さんでも探しに行っかな。
Oh, why?
お
Already?
嫁さんはまだ早いけど、僕も彼女は欲しい。
I already did your route, Wakasa. Your bad ending actually leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth.
君みたいに可愛い子、なかなか見つからないだろうけどね。
そんなのゲームの中にだってなかなかいないさ。
Okay, this is just too much. I feel like this is like everyone just complimenting Saki.
僕もそろそろ歩き出そうかな。
Maybe I should leave the house. I feel like what? Everyone is just, you know, inspired, I guess, just from Saki's presence. They made their way out the door one by one until just Kimimaru and I were left.
行きましょう、サキさん。
Okay. I took the hand he offered, and together we stepped through the door. To fate. Stay night. No, Outside, Shido looked up at Castle Hogstein, towering over us in the night sky.
俺たちはこれからワルドブータワーに向かう。
The castle.
今日のゲームをクリアしたら直接合わせろとワルド部に交渉したんだ。あいつ絶対ぶん殴ってやらなきゃ気が済まねえからな。
それなら急いだ方がいいかもしれません。
急ぐ？どうして？
彼は自分の正体がバレることなく7日間が終わった場合、人質を解放して姿を消すと言っていましたから。ほら、聞こえませんか？
We all went silent, and in the distance I could hear the faint sounds of sirens. If the police were here, then that meant the hostages must have been released.
逃がすか。急いでタワーに向かうぞ。
チャリメだ。
Kimimaru looked at the others as they headed off toward the tower and sighed sadly.
お
sadly.
付き合いできずに申し訳ありません。私はこのままゲートに向かいます。
どうする気だ。
警察に自首をして今までの罪を償うつもりでいます。
Everyone stopped in their tracks and turned around.
皆さんと出会えて本当に良かった。ありがとうございました。
He bowed slightly and everyone stared in silence. Himimaru. I put one of my hands on his shoulder. He looked over at me and smiled. I wouldn't be going to face Hogstein either.
浦部君まろ、決意は固いのか。
はい。すべて正直に話します。
でもさ、確かに色々あったけど、自首とかする必要はないんじゃない？ほら、だって一番悪いのってワルド部でしょ？浦部さんってそれ手伝ってただけなんだよね。
直接手を下さなくても犯罪に加担するだけで罪になる。
でもさ、自首なんかしたらせっかくサキちゃんとくっついたのに
Well,
離れ離れになっちゃうじゃない。
she'll have to visit him in prison, is what she'll have to do.
僕たちだってさ、そりゃ危険なこともあったけど、浦部さんのことはもう仲間だと思ってるから。
若狭さん、
何事にもけじめは必要だ。それにこいつ自身が自首をするって言ってるんだ。
He patted Wakasa on the back.
お前さんも泣いたりなんかしないで、男らしく見送ってやれ。
別に泣いたりなんかするわけないじゃん。
若狭君、大丈夫。浦部さんの立場なら情状酌量の余地もあると思う。そう長くは投留されないはず。
Will that really be the case? I don't know, considering that he's gonna confess everything about his father's crimes. I wonder if his father or anyone related to him would probably silence him or something? I don't know, because the thing is, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen in the story, but in real life, if you try to whistleblow a bunch of really powerful people, everyone related to that person, you know, he said before, like, his father has a lot of powerful friends, right? So, like, if you just out everyone involving, his father's network, it's probably gonna be bad. He's probably gonna get assassinated. At the very least, he's gonna get some opposition, let's just say. Well, I hope not. I hope not. He doesn't stay too long, I guess.
何不安になってんだよ。大丈夫。俺も起きたら牢屋に入ってることとかあるけど、すぐ返してくれるぜ。
Mitarashi, that's different.
ああ、お小言好きだけどよ。
That's not the same, buddy.
それは飲みすぎて倒れたりでもしてたんだろう。入る意味が違う。意味が。浦部君まろ、この事件に加担することになったお前の気持ちは理解したが、おいそれと納得できるものではない。
はい。
だがお前はきちんと罪を償うと言った。だからその罪を償って出てきた時までこのゲームの打ち上げをするのは待っててやる。
シードさん、
仲間だからな。はい。
Power of friendship. He shook my hand. He shook hands with the other men, then turned to me and smiled.
さあ、サキさん。
Well, time to dig out our savings account. Gotta pay for his parole. You have any bail money? Of course. I waved goodbye and then together we walked toward the entrance. Our uncle is like a famous game developer, right? Gotta use his,
ここでお別れです。
gotta start Kickstarter. And then, it'll be for Urabe's release. Anyway, he stopped. I could see a semicircle of police cars beyond the front gate. I nodded.
よかったら私が出てくるまで待っていてもらえませんか?
Nah, I'll get a new boyfriend now. I nodded. You don't need to ask. I already promised, remember? I'll stick with you, no matter what.
そうでしたね。
He smiled and hugged me one last
待
time.
っていてください。 必ずあなたのもとに。
I don't know. A lot can happen in a prison sentence. I could never forget you. Our kiss tasted a little bit like tears. Very salty. Anyway. Alright, so I guess this is the epilogue. Gosh, I can't believe it's already been 2 years. I hadn't felt anywhere that long. The events of the park had been quickly picked up by the media, and all of us had gone through a lot as a result. But ultimately, all of that had been overshadowed when the CEO of a major construction company was arrested on a number of very serious charges. The following investigation had turned up the truth behind a number of old, unresolved cases. Kimimaro had been given a shortened sentence in consideration of his extenuating circumstances and his willingness to assist investigators. Yes, that's called a plea bargain, by the way, in real life. Still, he had been told to serve time. He hadn't been allowed to take his crystal ball into prison, of course, but he still managed to practice his trade inside, and it made him popular. Okay. Prison fortune teller. We exchanged countless letters over the last several years, and I've been able to visit him a few times. We promised to live together once he got out, really? It's quite a decision. You know, she's like, I mean, in the Japanese version, she'll be like 19, I guess. I guess 20 in the English version. That's still pretty young to just start living together already. I don't know. Alright. I heard my uncle call from downstairs and leapt up from the sofa to open the door. I mean, she's going to college, right? So, or at least assuming she would go to college. I don't know. Today was a big day. Kimimaro was coming home.
お世話になりました。
ほら、行っておいで。
Hey.
早く彼に抱きつきたいって顔してるぞ。
Okay, fine. My uncle gave me a friendly nudge and I ran. I still don't know her relationship with her uncle, by the way. Is she living in her uncle's house or something? Or like legal guardian or something? Like, wow, where's her parents? Where's her real parents? It's never mentioned. Like her actual mom and dad. I don't know where they are. They're just non-existent, I guess. Doesn't matter. Kimimaro! Hug. CG? Computer graphics image? Oh, she looks different, wow. Longer hair? My god. I leapt into his arms. He looked thinner than he had when he got in, but he still caught me with ease. Really? You think if you're gonna spend time in prison, you spend it, you know, pumping iron is all I'm saying. I thought he would get, get muscles or something. Of course, wild horses couldn't keep me away. But thankfully, he didn't get shanked during his time in prison. I hugged him harder and he laughed.
落ち着いてください。こんな人前で抱きつかれるなんて恥ずかしくなってしまいます。
And is it just me, or is her like weird bomb fuse wick, you know, a hoge on the top of her head is a lot bigger, you know? That also grew. No way, I'm not letting you go until I make up for the last 2 years.
これからたっぷり時間はあります。皆さんとのゲームの打ち上げの約束やあなたとの新居選びも楽しみにしてるんです。だからすべて終わって落ち着いたら。
Okay. I felt his breath in my ear as he whispered. My cheeks went red.
行きましょうか。いつまでもおじさんを待たせては申し訳ないですから。
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. He had already turned to go, but I tugged on his hand and pulled him back. I stood on tiptoe to whisper into his ear. Welcome home, Kimimaro.
ただいま、サキ。
That's a very Japanese way to end it. You know, welcome home. Was it? I can't remember actually. They always say that when a character comes back home, but like symbolically as well. It's a very normal greeting whenever someone comes home. You know, I forget what you call it. Like someone says, I don't remember. They always say in anime, I don't remember what they say. But you know, someone says welcome home, the other person says tadaima. You know, like I'm back. And often they use that in a very emotional moment, I guess. When symbolically someone comes back home for good, I guess. Anyway, there you go. That's the psycho yandere boyfriend route. You know, he went a little yandere there, but I guess it turned out normal at the end. I guess, which is fine. I do like how he went crazy though a little bit. That's pretty funny to me. How he just went full on yandere at one point. But that makes his bad ending, again, I mentioned before, but his bad ending is actually unique, you know? In that, instead of like falling out of love, just like all the other characters it seems, instead he falls in too much love, you know, and his little crazy face in this CG. And then, you know, just punches her in the stomach. So much in love with her. He'll punch her in this, it really is just, that's actually a very abusive relationship, you know? You love her so much that you just beat her up. I don't know about that. Anyway. But that's the bad ending. The good ending, though, however, I guess, you see more of the puzzle, actually, that we didn't do. That's also a thing. I guess that's that for Urabe's ending. I also like this CG, only looking at Saki's, like, grown up, you know, a little bit. She looks very different when she grows her hair out. I don't know. Just weird. It's weird, but I like it. I wish we were just... I mean, I kind of wish Saki was just older, you know? It would fit the game. I don't know. I feel like it would fit better if she was just simply older from the start, rather than just being a high school student. I don't know. It's just less weird to me, okay? Even though it's like a very common trope in a lot of like romance anime and visual novels to have a protagonist like a teenager, because I guess that's their demographic, you know? But I don't know. I actually prefer if they were just simply at least a young adult, you know? At the very least. It's just less weird. Anyway, so we've done that. We've done most of the characters at this point. I guess the only thing left would be big old muscle man Mitarashi. You know, we haven't seen him. I feel like his route would probably be more straightforward. I don't know. I don't think his route is going to be all that complicated. I think it's actually pretty simple. It's just big muscle man that's going to save the day, maybe, or something like that. And another secret route that we haven't done yet, but I'll save that for last, I guess, because it's probably the most interesting, if I had to guess. I don't know yet, but we'll see after the Mitarashi route. So, that's the plan, though. Mitarashi is next. Right here, Mitarashi. 6 out of 6.